So, Dr. Rose, how are you this evening?
I'm well.
Awesome, awesome. And for those folks that are not familiar with you, please give us a brief summary of who you are and that little gem you're holding.
Well, I'm Stephanie Rose. This is Lily Rose. She is my haunted doll. Um, I have a science background. I've always been fascinated by things you can't see, I guess you could say. I've always been a sensitive, so I've always had this, I don't know, parallel in my head between being a sensitive and then being like very logical and wanting to know why things happen the way they do. And just kind of
Right.
fascinated by the paranormal. I have my bachelor's degree in chemistry and my doctorate. I have a doctorate of pharmacy and a doctorate of medicinal chemistry.
Nice. Nice. That's way more than me. I think I graduated high school and I did some college. That's about it. I did life. That's about all I can say. I was in the military. That's about it. But no, that's awesome. So let's dive in and find out. So I think my first question would be like, obviously you would think I'd want to talk about Lily, but we're gonna get there. And that would be like, what about you? Like, at what point did you realize that you really liked and you were fascinated by something beyond?
Probably as a child. I, like I said, always been a sensitive and seeing things, but I couldn't explain. I guess the first real experience I had, my grandfather passed away, and I think I was about 13. And afterwards, he visited me, and I never really told anyone because I didn't think anyone would believe me, and it just kind of sounded crazy. And like I said, I'm very logical in my head, trying to figure out how these things work. But let's see, I've really only done a lot of investigating past year. I just have been obviously busy in my life. And
Right.
it's the first time I've had time, to go out and explore. But yeah, kind of new to this.
Okay. And so okay. So when you said you had that first experience, I mean, what was it like for you? And like how old were you roughly? Do you remember?
I think I was about 13.
Okay. So that's definitely a very impressionable age too.
Yeah.
Especially like when you're old enough to like remember stuff pretty well and be smart enough, usually even at 13, to kind of figure some things out. But what was your, like, how did you like interpret that?
I think I tried to suppress it a little bit, but I just kind of in my head tried to reason it like, well, maybe I just missed him, maybe it was just something in my head that I thought I saw. But looking back, yeah, definitely was him.
Yeah, I mean, and that sounds really similar to even how I was. Like, even with with the little bit of experiences I had up and even till adulthood, it was like I always in the back of my mind thought, well, maybe I was younger, maybe I was imagining something. I don't know, So I was, I could see that. So, and you said that you just started investigating in the like last year or so. You said,
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Like, what did you just like? Was there a team you joined, or like did you start a team? I mean, how did that come about?
I just have a friend. He and I have been going out. Like I went to Lake Shawnee, Trans-Allegheny. Of course, I posted some pictures. We took Lily.
So wait, this was like, was this like a dating thing? Was you like dating somebody, and there's like this was like your dates?
Sort of, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to gather. It's like, oh, okay. So this is like you got into it through dating, and you're like, okay, I like this. This is fun. Oh, but that's awesome. So what was the first type thing that you did? When you said I know you mentioned Trans-Allegheny just for a second ago, but what was the first place you went to?
Probably, well, besides a couple of cemeteries, Lake Shawnee, the amusement park.
Okay.
We didn't overnight there. He's more with the technology part, so We had REM pods, a lot of experiences with those going off at certain times.
Right.
Seeing orbs and just like a swing started swinging.
Okay. Yeah.
And
So okay, and then by the way, Mark Howland popped in and said, "Hi, Lily." Um, so okay, at what point did you end up acquiring a Lily there?
let's see. I've had her probably about 4 months, I think. And when I first got her, of course, I was told she was haunted, but you know, I have to see something to believe it myself.
So I mean, like somebody called you up and said, "Hey, I want to give you this or sell you this doll," or what, how did that happen? Like, what was that conversation like when they?
They just brought it to me. It was like, here's this haunted doll. I guess just see what we experience with her, see what happens.
Here, this doll almost killed me here. No, I'm just kidding. Like,
Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, get rid of it.
you just ditch it off on somebody? What the heck? No,
Yeah, I don't know why someone got rid of her.
no. So
I
they
don't
gave
know her
you
story.
Lily. They gave you Lily, and they said what, that she was haunted.
That's all I was told.
Okay.
So I wasn't really sure. It started as a few times it would look like her head would turn, like she would be facing a different way. I was like, kind of weird. Didn't think a whole lot about it. The the first thing that really got me was I bought her a pair of shoes,
Right.
and she was sitting up on the dresser. I came home and she was sitting in a different position. No one had been in my house. And it's like, where's Lily's shoes? I
Huh.
looked everywhere. I could not find them. 2 days later, I saw them sitting there neatly beside my dog Martens, like just under my bed.
Right. Something that you probably wouldn't have done yourself in that way. You know what I
No,
mean? Wow. That's crazy.
apparently she doesn't like those shoes.
And so what happened at that point? Did you start setting up experiments around her or?
Not really, but sometimes I would take a picture of her when I left. And I'll come back. She'd be in the bedroom, and I would come home and she's on the couch. Like, I'm like, Lily, what are you doing? And then myself, like being so logical, I'm like, Stephanie, you're talking to a doll.
Right.
But
No,
yeah, she's I guess she feels to me like a juvenile sort of spirit.
right.
Um, like the things she does is more like silly. Um, yesterday, so she was just sitting on a pillow, and yesterday when I came home, my makeup was all over my bed. I was like, Lily, what are you doing? Are you wanting to play with makeup too, or something? I don't know.
Oh my God.
It's
So yeah, a little bit of
hilarious.
a prankster
So,
then, huh? Well, and that makes sense. Like, when you said juvenile, and so you feel like that through her actions also, right? Or is it also
yeah,
something intuitive that you're picking up on?
it's both. I guess, sort of a super empath. Um, and with her, I've never been afraid of her or felt any like malice or anything like she would be harmful in any way. But she definitely is silly, I guess is the way I would describe it.
Now, Mark said that he was curious about Lily's relationship with the insane asylum.
Okay, well, I had already named her Lily. We went to Trans-Allegheny and just happened to be, well, there was a female juvenile spirit there named Lily. So we went into Lily's room. I brought her there. Our tour guide, there was a doll in there, and our tour guide said that doll would just appear different places in the asylum, different rooms and things. So
Hmm.
I was like, well, I'm going to bring Lily in. Our tour guide said, I'm only afraid of two things, bats and creepy dolls. And of course, there's bats everywhere. And I was like, well, I sort of brought a creepy doll.
Right.
So I think I scared our tour guide.
Nice.
But I sat her down with the other doll, took some pictures and just different things with her, let her experience it. And ever since then, ever since we got back from Trans-Allegheny, she has really started doing a lot more moving around and different things.
Wow.
So I don't know if we acquired more energy somehow or if I brought Lily home with me. I really don't know.
Right. Now, so it sounds to me, you said you have kind of a science background, and, a lot of times that almost doesn't always go hand in hand with paranormal. There's like the pseudoscience term, right? And so scientists, a lot of times they sort of, roll their eyes or turn their nose up to paranormal. So with your science background, how has that been for you? And what was that transformation for you like?
Um, I'm still trying to figure it out, I think, but the physics of it is what fascinates me. I need to set up a camera and find out what's happening. I'm like, does she teleport or how are these things moving? I have no idea. I can't explain it.
Right.
So in my head, I'm trying to think, physically what would happen. And I don't know. I think part of the way those two things meet for me, like the science, and then I read a book by Brian Greene, a physicist, and he talks about, different dimensions and how we can cross over. And it makes sense. Like his background is string theory. I started reading about it, and I'm like, the more I learn, the more it makes sense to me. Like, I think it really can happen.
Right.
But I really can't explain it yet.
Yeah, and that's always tough. There seems to be something to do with frequencies and things like that as well. Frequencies, I think, play a part. Just like with a radio station, you can listen to a whole world of music on one frequency, and you can just flip over to another frequency, and it's a completely different experience and world of music on the radio. So there is something to be said about that too. And with the human brain waves, the frequencies, even the Schumann resonance, the frequencies in Earth. There's a lot to be said about these type of possibilities, the spiritual networks. There's a lot. So, and I think it makes it difficult to scientists try to recreate things. That's what they love, right? When you set up an experiment, you want to be able to reproduce results. If you can't reproduce the results, then they're like, it's not real or whatever. It's false, right? But in the world of paranormal, that's the problem. There's something about it, but it's not consistent,
Yeah.
and that makes it really tough.
Yeah.
Mark wants to know, what was the most animated experience with Lily?
Probably, well, a couple days ago, I came home really late. I left her in the bedroom. When I came home, she's literally standing, I don't know how, standing on the couch, and the door was cracked open, the front door that I locked when I left. Which, like, literally, how? I don't know. Explain
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how she moves from room to room.
And how often would you say like that you, I mean, even if it's like little things, like how often would you say a frequency wise that you kind of experience, like, like, is it like a daily where you just kind of, or is it like once a week, once a month? I mean, how often do you kind of notice something where you're just like, huh, that's different?
Oh, definitely daily now. So
Daily.
she, maybe the most animated thing is she was sitting on the bed. I went out of the room. I came back in the room, and I'm like, where's Lily now? She's completely under the covers, like totally had made the bed, everything, and was just underneath it. Like,
little hide and seek action. That's scary. Yeah, that is like, I guess that is people's fears. I guess we all watch too many movies, like little hide and seek, and all of a sudden, you find her one day, and like one of those freaking holding the knife,
strange things.
I mean, so now some people kind of get, they look at karma and stuff like that. How is your relationship with her? Like, do you obviously, you hold her? I mean, it seems like you give her some kind of respect. I mean, so, but what kind of relationship would you say you foster with her?
I think maybe she's attached to me because I'm a mother. I'm not sure, if that is her feeling, and because I'm very empathetic.
Do you feel like you're almost being like a foster mom?
Sort of, yeah. I have 3 children that are grown now, so um, I don't know. She just got attached to me or what, but
Right.
she doesn't like it when I'm gone for a long time. She definitely does
Really?
not like that.
What like how does she show it? Does she cause more destruction than normal, or
Yes. Well, like the other day, the door was open, but it had to have just been opened. Otherwise, there would have been like bugs all in my house and everything. So, and then there she was standing on the couch. It's like, are you mad at me?
oh man. So what do you hope to achieve with Lily, like with like your Facebook? I mean, are you gonna start trying to film some more experience around her, or are you gonna pretty much focus on the paranormal group, like the team, like investigating? I mean, what's your future on this?
Probably both, but I feel like Lily's going to be with me for a long time. Um, I'm not sure if she really likes being filmed. I had a like an EVP meter and would talk to her, and different times it would like go all the way up and then all the way down, and I would ask her questions, and then I started filming her and it just stopped
Right.
completely. So
Yeah. I believe that, because I do think that, in like I said, I've been involved in this in about 30 years, and I will say that there's so many investigations where things are so good off camera, and then when the cameras roll, everything just gets dead sometimes. And then there's sometimes, yeah, it can be opposite. I think some ghosts like to be on camera. Some ghosts maybe a little more camera shy, and I think they know. And so I can completely understand that for sure. Um, Mark wants to know, was there an epiphanal moment when meeting Lily?
um yes, I think she was on the couch when I left. I came back. The bed was completely made and she was just tucked into the bed. Like, oh, there's no way that could have just, I don't know. I can't explain that. But that was a big thing. Like, okay, she moved rooms. She made the bed. She tucked herself in. I was like, something's going on here. Something's
Oh,
going on that I can't explain. And she has to be the one doing it.
right. And then did you ever feel uncomfortable at all? Or I mean, have you ever felt like maybe this isn't a good idea? Or, like have you thought about anything other than like just fostering her? Or?
Not with her. Like at Trans Allegheny, there were times I could definitely feel a lot of tension and things. But actually, when I think about it, I had my name 5 times when we were at Trans Allegheny, and 4 of those times we were in the room next to Lily's.
Hmm.
But when I was in her room there, and then every time I've been around her, I don't feel threatened at all or anything like that with her. Um, but I'm almost like, people say, "You have a haunted dog, get rid of her, do this, do that." I'm like, I don't think she wants me to. And what someone would just throw her away. Like, there's obviously something to her. There's some sort of spirit here.
Right.
And I think she's comfortable here. So
No, that's fine. And that's why I always ask, because I know there's going to be always people that's going to think those things, and it's good to know where you stand on that. And as long as you feel like you have a handle on things and you don't feel like you're being manipulated into darker and darker times, then I think that there's nothing wrong with that. And that's awesome. Um, I think I was just thinking of something too, that I was going to ask you, and then I got sidetracked by that thought. But we will start to wrap up this, guys. If you have any last minute questions that you want to get into her, specifically for her or Lily, I'll give you that chance, and then we are going to move on to the next subject here in a second, and we're going to get the doctor's thoughts on Stephanie's thoughts on some of these other things too. So Mark has one more. He said, do you believe intensity of attention assists in Lily's animation?
I do. definitely. I don't know if it's my energy that she's feeding off of or what, but it's definitely getting stronger.
Well, free fly going on here. What the heck? So, well, and I would say too that, it's very common with, you know, spirits that act sort of juvenile. You know, anybody with kids knows how they act, and if they don't get the attention, sometimes they can throw fits and throw tantrums, so to speak. They will let
Yes,
and it doesn't
I
always
thought my makeup was everywhere last night.
right, exactly. And it doesn't mean that they're like a demon child. It just, that's what a lot of kids do, I mean, so it makes sense. And especially if you're like perpetually a child right now, you know.
Yeah.
I think most people just get concerned about child spirits because a lot of times there's dark spirits masquerading as child spirits. So, so yeah, it definitely. And Mark said is how intriguing this topic is. So yes, this is why we wanted to have Lily on the show and Stephanie. And see, Lily's the front and center, right? Does she get all the attention? Is
Yes.
she the star?
Yes. I like being behind the camera, not in front of it.